Left-handers of Reddit, what are the perks/downsides that no one talks about? Spiral notebooks are your enemy, as well as grade school scissors. You can always use the excuse to use the teacher's scissors though, they were always better anyway. Yeah no, lefties don't live, as long as right-handed people. Always write only on the left side of spiral notebook, and when you fill out all the pages, then flip the notebook 180 degrees, voila you can continue writing on the left side. May seem strange at first, but it works. Same goes for righties, does that word even exist? Lol, only the other way around. The worst is, when you're in a classroom that has those single chair/desk combo. They're all right-handed making it super hard to make notes. Sometimes there's a token left-handed one in a random place in the classroom where you don't particularly want to sit. In combat sports, left-handers are more likely to win because everyone's been training against right-handers, and facing left-handers is kind of rare. Manny Pacquiao and Tenshin Nasukawa come to mind of famous southpaws. Keep in mind some right-handers also choose to fight in left-handed stands too. I used to have a job as a teaching assistant in a school, so I had to use a whiteboard. I taught myself to write, in English, mind you, right to left, so I didn't smudge the words. If people didn't already slightly suspect you of sorcery, that would basically seal the deal for them there, that you're a witch. In terms of hassles, can openers suck? My dad has this one he got in Vietnam. It looks almost like an X-Acto knife blade, and I have an easier time using that thing than the $20 OXO can opener my mom keeps in the kitchen. So my mom, a lefty, bought this really fancy electric can opener. Like top of the line. She grew up poor, and most of her adult life was working class. So, basically, she made do with whatever we had around and could afford. Over time, she's gotten in a much better place and now can afford that sharpener she always wanted. I had a friend go on a rant that electric sharpeners are the worst. Basically, they are a sign of laziness. She asked me, who, besides arthritic people, need an electric sharpener? Left-handed people. Oh. Here are some lesser known perks. Bowling alley's tend to wear out the right side of the lanes from the bowls of right-handed people making shots inconsistent. Being a lefty allows you to use a fresher flatter part of the land. This is why a lot of world champion bowlers are lefties. If you use a mouse with your left, it's actually more ergonomic as a right-handed person needs to move a lot further between keyboard and mouse because of the numbered. Hence why lefties are less susceptible to carpal tunnel syndrome. Writing in Arabic, Hebrew, and Japanese is less messy. Better control with joystick plus button arcade type video games. It somehow feels more hygienic not having to shake people's hand with my non-dominant hand, can't explain why though. There is more opportunity to hone skills for being ambidextrous since the whole world is designed for right-handed people. I can't back this up with data, but I think that if the right hand of lefties went toe to toe with the left hand of righties, lefties would win hands down. If you use a mouse with your left, it's actually more ergonomic as a right-handed person needs to move a lot further between keyboard and mouse because of the numbered. Hence why lefties are less susceptible to carpal tunnel syndrome. But if I mouse with my right, my dominant hand is still free. Ick now if I want to write something down while mousing at the same time. That said, I'm ambidextrous when using a mouse. While I naturally default to my right hand for it, I had to learn to mouse with my left when I broke my arm. All tools are made for right-handers. All thumb buttons are on the wrong side of handles. Meat slicers and all one-handed operation machines are right-hand operation only. Guns eject spent casing in your face and safety, you often have to reach around the gun in an awkward manner. I could go on and on. We live in a right-handed world. Left is just visited clumsily. The bad. Trying to eat with chopsticks at a busy sushi bar is the most awkward thing imaginable. And bank pens are always tethered to the right-hand side of the teller window with never enough slack to reach. The good. Potato peeler is always sharp. I never had to share my softball glove cause no one could ever use it, but it was hard to find a glove to buy period. My daughter is also left-handed, and for whatever reason I love that she is. Story time. My dad is a lefty, and so I am. I'm a daddy's girl and love that we share our leftiness. So recently, I'm 29, we were watching home movies of me as a toddler, and I'm playing with a toy hammer acting like I'm hammering with my right hand, and off camera you hear my dad say put it in your left hand to a Zune 7, and I switch hands. I just thought it was hilarious. I was surprised to see proper table manners, for it means switching hands all the damn time, fork/knife in and out of your right hand. I keep my fork in my right and use the knife with my left without any impediment. Table manners be damned. Can only use chopsticks with my left though, since it's like writing. I think this, at least, started as an American thing. I remember looking this stuff up a while ago, because my parents always told me it was rude to hold my knife and fork left-handed in public, and in Europe at least it's just knife in dominant hand and fork in non-dominant hand. I only saw the swapping hands thing in reference to America, but I could be wrong. It has been a while. Lifelong lefty here. I don't know about anyone else, but I feel like I've always kinda judged right-handed people for thinking that being left-handed is so amazing. Like, we didn't pick what hand we started writing with either. The process was the same. Also, I can't speak for everyone, but I find that being left-handed isn't that rare at all. There have always been other left-handed people around me in school or at jobs, so it never seemed that rare. Both my parents are right-handed, and I'm their only child who turned out to be left-handed. That's kinda weird. This is very specific. I was issued a helmet by the army with a chin strap that buckles over my left cheek. Since I'm left-handed, I'm also left-eye dominant. This isn't necessarily universal. This means that when I aim my rifle I use my left eye, and I rest the left side of my face on the buttstock. In order to aim correctly, I'm supposed to mash my left cheek into the buttstock. This is called getting a cheek weld. Because the buckle for my chin strap is over my left cheek, it gets in the way of firm contact. I've asked for a chin strap that buckles over my right cheek, or underneath my chin. However, I was told to just buy my own online. The cheapest price for a new chin strap I could find, $115. I was also told to learn to shoot with my right eye, which I refused to do. As a lefty, finding musical instruments is a ducking difficult task. When it comes to acoustic guitar, if you want to actually become a musician, simply turning strings upside down isn't enough. The sound is negatively affected. Scissors are a forbidden dark tool and rarely you'll find one that works both ways. Spiral books are nightmares, unless you're writing in Hebraic. From right to left, you will always ink your writing hand accidentally. Most desks are made for right-handed people. However, there are some perks. You can learn to use right hand easier and faster than right-handed learning to use left hand, because world is projected to writers, therefore it gets easier to us. Nobody asks to borrow your instruments, because they are designed for lefties. Majority of soccer players are righties. Being lefty makes you pretty much unpredictable. Same goes for fighting. I get told left-handed people have better handwriting when learning something practical from a right-handed person. If they sit in front of you and teach it, then it's like starting at a mirror and you can learn easier. Also, fun fact, lesbians have a higher chance to be left-handed for some reason. You become slightly ambidextrous due to the tendency of a right-dominant world. So I don't have a useless right hand, which is nice, because I notice right-handed people are useless with their lefts. But sometimes things get frustrating. I don't feel comfortable with a lot of power tools, and I always have pencil or ink smudged into the side of my hand. And if I free write on a piece of paper or chalkboard or whiteboard where there's no lines of guidance, my writing starts to sweep upwards as it moves along the sentence. IDKY. Something interesting though, I have tried using a computer mouse before with my left, and it's like my hand goes completely dumb on me, which is fascinating, because you'd think that would be a cakewalk. Downsides are, of course, scissors, dork knobs, sprawl notebooks plus binders, ink smearing, can't use a whiteboard, have to sit at the innermost seats in lectures, BC is a desks, and the classic comments on how I'm the devil or some shit benefits you become ambidextrous by necessity, can learn to write backwards, can italicize when writing, and we're better at cursive. Also, finding another lefty is always really cool. The biggest perk though is that the forces of evil flow through our blood, with dark energy bubbling just below the surface. We walk amongst you. One subtle perk I have observed is that a left's right hand is often more dexterous and or strong than a right's left hand. I have spoken to many right-handed people who feel like their left arm is super clumsy, bordering on useless. But since left-handed people are forced to adapt to a right-handed world, they have better control over their non-dominant arms. This isn't based on any scientific study or anything, just my own observation.